thing that we gotta look into parallelograms. Before I look at question number one, let me draw a parallelogram. Let's see, like I said, we talked about them before. One thing is the top and bottom are parallel, and then the two sides are also going to be parallel. Like I said, we talked about that before. Opposite angles. So obviously I'm not going to look at number one. I'm going to do an example. If let's say one angle here is 100, opposite angles, the one on the other side, should also be the same number. Like I said, we talked about that. Another thing that we mentioned, if this is 100, the angle right next to it should also be 80. And the reason why, because they have to add up to 180. And if we add the 4 degrees, I said it's not question one, it's just an example. If we add the 4 degrees, it should be 360. But remember our formula n minus 2 times 180, 4 angles should add up to 360. So that's how we do that. So that's going to help us with question number one. I want to say angle U is 121 degrees. So I want to come and say 10x plus 1 is 121. Right, the opposite angles are congruent. So in order for me to have the 10x by itself, this plus 1, let me move it to the right as a minus 1. So I have that 10x equals 120. What's the value of x? 12. So if the angles are opposite, let them equal each other. Right? Opposite angles are equal. But if the angles are not opposite, if I, instead of 10x plus 1 on u, if I would have put it on t, if I would have wrote down here 10x plus 1, the way you guys would have solved for that, you guys would have said 10x plus 1 is equal to 59. And the reason why 59, because I went 180 minus 121. That gives me 59. So that's how I would have let it equal to 59 instead. But then you have to look into, if they're opposite, they're equal. But if they're adjacent, they add up to 180. So then I would have made it equal to 59. If it was t instead of u. Does that make sense? Yeah? So you said 30x minus 4 equals what you said? 116. Perfect. Right, we're not going to let it equal to 64 because they're not opposite. We're going to let it equal to 116 because 116 plus 64 is 180. Right, so that's one thing you have to look into. If they're opposite, they're equal. But if they're adjacent, right, they're connected by a side, they're next to each other, then they add up to 180. I think the rest I'll let you guys do those. But let me take a look at one where we have some diagonals in there. I know the whole corner B, I'm looking at question number 8. The whole corner B is 110. Right, because 38 plus 72 is 110. So I know the whole corner B is 110. So for this thing, I'm going to say 6x plus 10 equals what? 70. The triangle has to equal to 180, but we don't know the third angle of the triangle. So, once again, we knew the whole angle B was 110. It's 38 plus 72. The whole thing was 110. So that means that angle U has to be 70. Because they're next to each other, they have to add up to 180. So that's why we said 6x plus 10 is equal to 70. I said sometimes our angles are going to be cut, not necessarily in half. We notice angle B was not cut in half. It's just cut into two parts. And not necessarily the middle. Alright, so you guys will be able to do those. Any questions up until 14? Number 14? Alright. I'm going to come over and say, I know angle D is 85 degrees, right? We see angle D is 85. How big is the whole angle E? It looks like it's less than 100. 95. So the whole angle E is 95. Because 95 and 85 is 180. So the whole angle E is 95. So I'm going to say 6x minus 10 plus 39, because if you notice I'm looking at the whole angle E, is 95. Does that make sense? Second, you had a question?
Yeah, how will you solve number 3 with the two equations?
I'll look into number 3 in a minute. For number 14, so we have that. 6x minus 10 plus 39 equals 95. We can simplify the left. Right, negative 10 plus 39, that's 29. So I'm just going to call this 6x plus 29 is equal to 95. Right, I simplified negative 10 plus 39. That gave me 29. Now my 29, let me move it to the right as a minus 29. So we have the 6x equals, how much is 95 minus 29? Start with the 6. 66. Alright, so if 6x equals 66, x equals 11. The idea on this one, remember the whole angle E, it's two parts. So I say the whole angle E added to 95. The whole angle E. Not just one part, the whole angle. Does that make sense? Kind of? Stephen, you said number 3, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so is one of them bigger than the other?
No, they need the same size.
They're the same size? So we're going to come and say 3x plus 17 is equal to 4x plus 6. Right? In this case, they're both equal. I can separate them through the equal sign. My positive 4x on the right, let me bring it to the left as a negative 4x. My 17 on the right, let me bring it to the left as a minus 17. I know 3x minus 4x is negative 1x, right? How much is 6 minus 17?
Negative 11.
Negative. So if negative x equals negative 11, what's x?
11.
Right, 11. We can come and say, well, divide both sides by negative 1, x becomes positive 11. So yeah, we did have x's on both sides. Any other questions for the first 14? 9? Alright. Looking at question number 9, I'm going to say 4x plus 10 plus 56. If you notice, I'm adding the whole angle R. I'm adding the two parts of angle R. 4x plus 10 plus 56, it is equal to what? $98. Good. It's equal to 98 because since angle Q is 82, the whole angle R is 98 because it has to add up to 180. Right, so for us to know how much the whole angle R is, we went 180 minus 82. So that we got 98. Right, 180 minus 82 gives us 98. So we know the whole angle R is 98. So we can do this. We can simplify 10 plus 56. So let me write this as 4x plus 66 is equal to 98. Right, we simplified 10 plus 56. Then my positive 66 on the left, let me move it as a negative 66 on the right. So we get the 4x equals what? 32. Since 4x equals 32, what's x? 8. So remember, opposite angles are equal to each other, but adjacent angles add up to 180. And then for angles, I do that, but for sides, I will never ask you guys for adjacent sides. Looking at question number 15, opposite sides are always equal to each other. Opposite sides. So for this one, I'm just going to say x plus 4 is equal to 11. The opposite sides are congruent. So 11 and x plus 4 are equal to each other. So if x plus 4 equals 11, we're going to move the positive 4 to the right as a negative 4. What's x? 7. If you notice for sides, that just because RQ is 11, I have no idea how big QP is. Right, QP is right here. RQ is 11. Just because RQ is 11, I have no idea how big QP is. Right, adjacent sides have no relationship at all. Right, I can't find it. Don't have enough information. Opposite sides, we can do it. Adjacent sides, we cannot. Only opposite sides. So that part, this will be pretty simple. I think you guys can do those up until 22. Any questions up until 22? 17? Alright, so for 17, I'm going to say 22x is equal to 22. Right, this bottom side is equal to the top side. 22x equals 22. What's x? 1. Right, we divide both sides by 22, so x equals 1. Right, any other questions up until 22? Alright, now 23, when we have our diagonals, the diagonals are going to be the same length. So DB, like this diagonal, and EC, they have the same length. So if I know one, I know the other. Not only that, but they cut each other in half. So they're the same length, and they cut each other in half. For diagonals in parallelogram. We're dealing with parallelogram, so I notice that PE is 24. So PE is 24. How big is CP? Oh, CP, not CE. 24. 24. So we know CP is 24. For me to solve for x, I notice I have CE. I'm going to have 9x minus 6. How big is the entire CE? 48. 48. So for me to solve for x, I'm going to go 9x minus 6 equals 48. Right, the entire thing. So my negative 6 on the right, let me bring it as a positive 6 on the right. So I have 9x equals 54. Right, 48 plus 6. How big is x? 6. Right, 54 divided by 9 is 6. So once again, for diagonals, the thing for diagonals, one diagonal is equal to the other diagonal. They have the same length, and they cut each other in half. The angle between them, we don't know. They cross a different angle. So we're not going to talk about the angles of the diagonal. We're just going to talk about the length of the diagonal. Let's take a look at one more question. 24. If you guys want, what I suggest, look at what you need, right? I'm looking at WY. The whole thing WY. And I know that NY is 22. How big is the whole WY? 44. So this is 22. So we're going to come and say 5x plus 4 is equal to 44. My plus 4, then you bring it as a minus 4. How much is 44 minus 4? 40. 40. If 5x equals 40, x equals 8. But like I said, today I felt like we could do this without notes. I think it's doable. Like, we could come out right. I can make you guys write notes, but what for? 21. Alright, looking at number 21, the two sides, I know the two sides are equal, so I'm just going to come and say 2x plus 7 is equal to x plus 7. Alright, the two sides are equal. Let me separate into the equal sign. My positive x on the right, let me bring it as a negative x on the left. My positive 7 on the left, let me bring it as a negative on the right. Remember, I move the letters to one side and numbers to the other. That's basically what I do. And on the left, how much is 2x minus 1x? X. On the right, how much is 7 minus 0? I mean 7 minus 7? 0. So x is equal to 0.